2 or 3 minutes with NFT trading with Franklin is bored. This AMA will be partially questions to Franklin and then partially free question period. So if you're interested in asking any questions, hop on over to the Reddit talk and ask your questions there. We're excited to learn about Reddit collectible avatars as they've been blowing up today, with some of them going from $100 to as much as $10,000 or $20,000. So hang tight, and we'll see you in a second. Welcome back, everyone. It's Opinion, and we're doing another Reddit talk today. That's right, 2 in 1 day. In addition to our pre-market talk today, and in light of Reddit NFTs, or collectible avatars as they call them, blowing up, we're doing an AMA with the top NFT trader, FranklinIsBored. Franklin has been trading Bored Apes for quite some time now, and he's quite famous for it. So we'll start in just maybe 1 or 2 minutes and try and see what all of this collectible avatar stuff that seems to be taking Reddit by storm, or at least a few of them by storm, is, and how you can make or lose a fair amount of money on this. I would also give a quick shout out to r/avatar trading before we get started. Avatar trading is a subreddit. It's pretty small, 5,000 users. That's all based around trading collectible avatars for Reddit. For those of you who don't know, Reddit originally launched its NFT platform quite some time ago, maybe a year or two now. Yeah, last August, or something like that. And since then, they've been issuing NFTs, creator, user made NFTs to the user base. And somehow they've all sold out, and some of them are trading at much higher prices. So with that being said, it is now 4 p.m. Eastern, and we're just waiting on our wonderful guest, FranklinIsBored. But that being said, if you would like to ask him a question, please feel free to come up here and raise your hand. And here he is now, the man of the hour. Franklin is boring. Welcome, Franklin. Nice to have you. You all settled up there?
Hey, can you guys hear me? My sound is going in and out.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sounds pretty good now. Thanks.
So I was just giving the people a little bit of a heads up on what Reddit collectible avatars are and how long they've been out. Just about a year in their original conception through Reddit's NFT platform, but it wasn't until earlier this summer, really, that they started to blow up. But before we get started, let's dive into you. Franklin, do you want to give a little background about who you are?
Sure, I'm definitely glad to be here in Wall Street Bets. Never thought I would ever be in this seat here. I've been following just from the very outside, so no posting or heavy reading. But when the GameStop and everything blew up with GameStop, the beginning of last year. That sort of really got my interest into how us as a society can really, move markets and make statements in the global markets. Um, I got into NFTs shortly after that with NBA Top Shot. So it was just a combination of me not having like an influencer account or anything, just very small Twitter account. Same one I have now, but just only had a few followers. Just doing a lot of research with stocks and crypto, and that sort of merged into my interest in sports. And so Top Shot really took off around February, March of 2021. I didn't make any money in Top Shot, but I put a lot of money into it. Yeah, I just bought the peak of the market, so it's been all all downhill ever since. But I learned a lot of lessons about what exactly NFTs are and what they really meant at the time and what you could do with them. I saw them as digital collectibles. I know that's a hot term that's going around now with the Reddit NFTs, and I pretty much thought it was the same thing as NFTs. So I would just use them interchangeably and thought that the NBA Top Shot moments were like digital trading cards. Um, it was just me wrongly thinking, oh, it could have like a Wall Street bets like rise to, to make me a millionaire or something, even though that phase had already passed. So then, thanks to all my just being on Twitter and following a lot of people, a lot of those, I wouldn't say influencers, but people who were heavy in the Top Shot that I followed started changing their profile pictures to Bored Apes when they were minting and eventually sold out on May 1st of 2021. So that was what really got me interested in sort of the social networking aspect of NFTs, where you can instantly create your own brand and tailor your Twitter profile to that particular Bored Ape. So I minted three of them as they were selling out. It was very, very hard to miss. Pretty much anybody who was online at the time had the opportunity to mint before it sold out because they were all getting shoved in our face pretty much. And I fell in love with it. Fell in love with the storyline, all the memes that were behind the traits. I didn't really know all of them, but could recognize some of the funny, quirky stuff, and then also the trait combos were pretty funny. How they could be randomly put together to make a picture, and so that's when I started really building up my collection. Just a few hours later after they sold out, so I bought a few dozen or dozen or so, and then bought my profile picture, which is that gold ape, and then bought another dozen or so after that. So I ended up with 30 by the end of the first day. It's all different kinds of apes, different kinds of trait combos that I researched, and I've been hooked on the NFTs and NFT Twitter ever since. So just spend hours a day on Twitter or tweeting at people, just researching or just randomly buying NFTs. The market's definitely cooled down a whole lot since even this time last year, but especially early in the year and in the spring, as we all know. But it's been a lot of fun to still try to build and still accumulate through trading and flipping and just also building my network and doing things like IP deals with my Bored Ape, which is something that we can get into later in terms of like what I really like about the NFT space. I did touch on that when I talked about how you can make it your personal brand. So if that's a tip for anybody who wants to sort of take advantage of Web3 by improving or broadening their personal brand, um, these profile picture NFTs are a good way to do it.
Wow, that's amazing. But it kind of sounds like you really got your started by just being in the right place, right time. Would you kind of agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it all seemed to sort of connect. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it all seemed to sort of connect. Even before 2021, I just dabbled in crypto a little bit, but the market was really booming. So that's what kept me interested in trying to like follow things on social media. And then of course the stock market craze with started started by Wall Street bets. I remember I think I saw a Twitter video of a Discord chat. I don't know if it was this channel, but probably either this channel or something really closely related. And people were just talking nonstop. It felt like like 200 people talking at the same time. And I was like, wow, this is the next thing where everybody's really tuning into every little minute, every little second of what's going on in the market. So that sort of attention to detail is really what kept me in for the whole time. I obviously could have quit and tried to do the next side hustle after the NFT Top Shot didn't go too well, but thankfully I stayed around and still try to stick it out and see if there are better moves out there. It just so happened that the crowd that I followed moved over to the apes.
Wow, really nice. I'm gonna ask a question from the comments, and I'll just repeat it verbatim. Hi, Franklin. Welcome. How does it feel buying hella stupid ass monkey JPEGs for a living instead of having a real job?
That's a good question. I guess I do both. So I would like to do one or the other. Maybe one day I'll quit my current job and start buying more more monkey JPEGs. That's a really fun question. But yeah, the goal. I mean, the goal is to try to make a second income, make a sort of passive way of using my monkey JPEGs as artwork. Yeah, touched on that earlier. So I am not an artist at all. I can't draw anything with any instrument. So being able to buy these apes gives me the opportunity to pretty much say I own the artwork. So I can treat it like an artist would treat their artwork. And I've done some cool things with it so far. Um, and there are brands out there that want to use these apes for their marketing as well. So I am definitely on the forefront of, and proponent of people who own these to get their deals and make money from them. So you can quit your regular day job. Obviously, not everybody's going to get $100,000 a year branding deal, but never say never.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of our listeners are really interested in learning more about these branding deals. But before we go there, I see in the comments people saying, "Oh, hey, can you send me an NFT?" And people are so excited to give them NFTs. Can you talk a little bit about why that might not be such a great idea?
Why not? It might not be a great idea to send NFTs.
To receive NFTs from people you don't
Oh,
necessarily
to
know or
receive
trust?
NFTs. Yeah, it's a good question because the blockchain is just so open and accessible. Anybody can look into your wallet as long as they know what your wallet address is and pretty much see everything you can do with that wallet. And that gives people a chance to sort of take advantage of you by just sending you anything in the form of an NFT. So there are plenty of scammers out there trying to take and drain your wallet. So you just have to be very careful when clicking on links. It's not receiving an NFT is not going to drain your account. It's still up to the person who owns the wallet to click on something that's malicious. So you could get an NFT that could be a picture, a right click, say picture of an ape for mine. The NFT might say on their information, hey, go to this website and you'll claim, $1 million. Don't click on the website, obviously. So there's ways of people baiting you with promises within that NFT or um, asking you to click on a link to receive an NFT, but the link is actually a link to join your wallets. So definitely a security issue here, and I wish I had more time to talk. We could do plenty more talks later on about. There's a few Google Chrome extensions that I trust. Obviously, not everybody will trust Google Chrome extensions, but they, if I click on something that's like a crypto activity, it would not go forward until it simulates it for me what exactly it's going to do. So if it says, "Hey, you're going to lose all your apes if you click on this," then I'll know that it's a scam. But I've been around long enough to point that stuff out before I even click on it. But there's definitely a huge security barrier, unfortunately, for the NFT space, as opposed to me coming into Wall Street Bets. It's pretty easy for me to just go buy, hop on Robinhood and buy some stocks. I can see you guys' what stocks are going up or going down, and it's not that hard to do it without losing anything. But definitely for NFTs, you have to really be careful. So that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Thank you. Yeah, security is paramount. Now, let's get back to the interesting stuff. You just told us how not to lose all our money. How do we maybe make some money and not necessarily out of trading? Tell us about, these branding deals, the stuff you can actually do with these JPEGs.
That's a great question, and I do want to bounce the question back. I don't know the answer, but I do see a lot of Reddit avatars in the audience. Is the sorry, my dog's barking. Is are the artwork from the Reddit avatars, who has the rights to those? Does anybody know the answer to that? Because I can use that as
Uh,
an example.
I'll hand it over to Scald Crypto. He's in industry. He's a Reddit talk regular on our pre-market shows, and he is, as the name suggests, super into crypto.
Awesome. Yeah, Scald, I was just asking, what are your thoughts about the Reddit avatar IP? Like, who owns the right to the artwork? If you buy it, can you do stuff with it? Can you use it to make money off of it?
Sounds like he's at a loss for words.
Oh,
So excited that you asked.
um, okay. Let's not use Reddit as example because I don't know the answers there, but um, we can just use ApeX as example. There are plenty of other NFT collections that give the rights to the NFT holder, and that just really means that as long as you read the fine print, something's usually really open out there to tell you what rights you have. Um, but in terms of my rights with the apes, I can do whatever I want to with the ape image, other than pretty much the couple of things that I can't do is use the Bored Ape Yacht Club full name. I can just like write their name and say, "Hey, I'm representing them," or I can't use their logo unless their logo appears anywhere on my ape. So they're a ape with Bored Ape merch on it, and so you could leverage the Bored Ape logo through that merch. That's kind of a quirk in their system. Most apes don't have merch on them, so you don't really have to worry about that. So other than that, I can do whatever I want to with the ape. I can make movies, toys. I've printed my ape on shirts and sweatpants and sweatshirts. And I could start a clothing line, for example, with that and make my own money. Yuga Labs and Bored Ape Yacht Club doesn't receive any of that. It'll all come to me if I really wanted to do that. So likewise with, if you're an artist, you can do that with your artwork, of course. But if you're part of an NFT collection, that's more of a tight knit community that still gives you those rights. You could sort of play both hands. You can say, okay, I'm part of this tight community, but also I'm using my unique looking profile picture for to increase my brand. I can make it my personal business logo, have a company license it out, and work out a deal. We're still pretty early in Web3 to have like on chain, automatic, fully compatible with the law type branding deal. So you might need to have a good look with a lawyer or agent to make sure a particular branding deal with the company, it's good for both parties. But I think we're getting there. But as of now, you can still sort of work that deal out, you know, just pen and paper type deal.
All right. Well, it looks like I'm getting constant upvote and downvote emojis from the crowd. So I think they want to hear about maybe some of your actual trades, not how you maybe.
Okay,
Yeah. Why don't you talk about that?
sure. Yeah, this is the this is the Wall Street Bets channel. Let's talk about making some money. Um, I am a horrible stock trader, so I'll probably get some downvotes there. But for some reason, I can understand these NFT markets, and the biggest tool for me is Twitter. Um, I think today is definitely a really big historic day in terms of how much activity has moved from Twitter to Reddit. So maybe one day this will be old school, me being on Twitter, and Reddit might be the main place to be. But definitely use both platforms. Now to say that because I'm on Reddit. Twitter is definitely uh, a tool that you would really need to use and use regularly. Log on regularly, follow the right people, create your own content on there. That's a good way to get sentiment of certain NFT projects if you're trying to predict the movement of floor prices. So that's sort of an advice I can give. Twitter is your biggest um, asset, in my opinion. There's other websites that track metrics, that track volume, number of sales, and who's buying. Obviously, past performance doesn't indicate future performance, but those websites really can help. They update faster than your refresh button can if you're just searching for stuff on your own. And it's not like stocks where stocks are pretty much driven by these computer algorithms to determine the price instantly, and you can have programs set up to instantly make trades. It takes a little bit more work to buy an NFT, a little bit more time. Different marketplaces have different fees, so you have to take that all into account when you're looking for an NFT to either buy or sell. Um, And then with me for I usually trade exclusively with Bored Apes. I mean, they're a lot more expensive than I ever thought they would be. So it's not something everybody can do, but I employ those same, just those same basic principles in determining whether I should buy a different ape or sell one high and buy a different one for cheap. And it gives me sort of that market making type ability where, it's not like not something I would abuse, but I could definitely work the floor a little bit in terms of finding an ape that I want that's better than the ape that I have for a cheaper price. So yeah, just the same principles of buying low and selling high as you do with stocks or crypto coins. But I think there's a lot more human, psychological, and social factors that you could work to your advantage by being on Twitter. I like Twitter group chats. Maybe there'll be we we're trying to start a subreddit for NFT Twitter, so we're trying to cross over, but Twitter is definitely your biggest resource in terms of trading. Um, I follow a ton of people on Twitter. I don't know if that's the best advice. It's just something I naturally do. So the algorithm takes care of like me seeing the right post though. So as long as that is still around, I don't mind following a whole bunch of extra accounts. But
That's
but I see the stuff that I need to see.
that's all good stuff. But I think what people really want to hear about is dollar numbers, dollar amounts.
Okay.
Yeah, hit
Okay.
us with it.
Like what do I do, or what should I expect people to look for in terms of how much money to make? Because there's
Maybe
different levels of everything.
maybe first hit us with your most profitable flip and some of your least profitable flips, and then some of your biggest losers. If you want to, I know
Okay.
sometimes it hurts to attach real
Oh,
numbers to it.
yeah, I tweet my losses all the time. But so when I minted Bored Apes, the price of Ethereum was about $2,800. The mint price of Bored Apes were 0.08 ETH. So the team was able to sell out 10,000 of those. So they got millions of dollars. If you do the math, 0.08 times 10,000 times 2,800. So I minted three of those. So those are my cheapest apes. When I bought my 30 that first day, they were around 0.3, 0.4 ETH. My gold ape profile picture that I have, I paid 4 ETH for. That was probably a record sale at the time. The floor price for a gold ape now is 1,000 ETH. So that's an instant 250x from in terms of the price of ETH from that 4 ETH. And then obviously, 0.08 ETH to a floor price of around 70 ETH now. That's I can't do the math right there. It's probably like 900 something x, something ridiculous.
for
So
the for the central bankers in here, what is that in US dollars?
um, I just say $100,000. That's my number. So usually it pegs around $100,000 per floor ape now. The price of Ethereum changes daily, so that number can go up or down, but it's around $100,000 to get into the most well-known, recognized, and highest floor price NFT collection. And what comes with that is a word called utility. So maybe this happens in the stock world, where if you're a shareholder, you get access to certain types of events, certain types of products received from somebody. With the apes, at the time, we were able to receive free NFTs, such as the Bored Ape Kennel Club, which plays a role in the storyline of Bored Apes. It's just yet to be known, even though it's been over a year. But those trade for around maybe $9,000-$10,000 each now. The Mutant Ape Yacht Club, which is the lower barrier of entry for the entire yacht club. Each ape owner was able to get a serum, which you can also sell for probably $35,000 each. You could sort of drink that serum with your ape, turn it into a mutant, sell the mutant off for probably $17,000-$18,000 now, and so those are all free given to ape owners, and the prices of those really fluctuated. At the peak of the market, the mutants were worth over $100,000 each. So ApeCoin, it's probably been talked about in here. Each ape was able to receive a massive amount of ApeCoin starting in March. The market was the market was a lot better. The price of ApeCoin was about 20 $27, $28 at the peak around the beginning of May, and each ape got 10,000 or so ape coins. So do the math. That's like well over six figures in just free coins that ape owners got. So at the peak of the market, if I had sold everything, I would have had just my apes alone. I would have had over $20 million. So that's where you could say my biggest losses as well, because I could have cashed out everything, got 20 million, walked away, came back in, bought hundreds of apes right now, but I'm only at 60 because I rode most of the market all the way down. So both my biggest success and biggest failures were were within the ape. I didn't sell at the very top of the market and just writing it down. But even with writing it down, it's given me opportunities like this where I can, we're still pretty relevant in the NFT space, and I think we're better off, spreading the word about it. It doesn't have to be, oh, $450,000 per ape. We can we can go down to 100,000 and build from there. There was another project that I would mention, like my biggest loss in terms of I bought into the project at the top of the market, and there's a project called Overlord. It used to be called Creeps. They had a utility token, like I mentioned ApeCoin, but they had another. This project had a different token that was really being pushed on Twitter, where like if you stake your NFT, you get this much tokens per day. So I really bought, I really bought into that at the peak. I spent about $1 million on that. Oh my goodness, yeah, I spent a lot of money on that, and I'd say I lost at least 90% of that just in the. I've learned that projects with utility tokens, and we'll see with ApeCoin when ApeCoin staking starts in a few weeks. Projects with utility tokens with that passive income, usually the community likes to sell it off, so the price of that token just goes straight to zero. And I learned that lesson the hard way. So as the price of the token goes to zero, so did the price of the NFTs that yielded the token. And I rode that to like a 90% loss. So I would say that was my biggest monetary loss, because I should have put that money into like 3 or 4 more Bored Apes if I had the same thesis that I have now.
That's fascinating and
that
crazy story. So sorry, just 1 second. I'm going to let all these NFT profile pictures ask questions. I'm just going to ask one more question, and then anyone with an NFT profile picture can raise their hand and come up. So last question for you. What are your first opinions of the Reddit avatar collectible avatars, and do you own any? Do you want to own any in particular?
Good question. So I knew about the avatars probably 2 or 3 months ago, and I didn't do anything about it. You guys DM me, not about the avatar collection, but just to do this, AMA. And if I had decided to do it at the time, I probably would have done more research and got more into the community for it. But I missed all of that. Just like several people say they missed out on Bored Ape. So I guess karma comes back to me. And so only this weekend, specifically in the middle of the night last night, did I really look and see that my Twitter feed, pretty much every other post from every important person I followed, talked about Reddit NFTs. And that really, and this is like a funny sort of saying, but it makes sense to me. The higher the floor price goes up, the better the art looks. So the art probably didn't look as good when the floor prices were 10% of what they are now. So that's basically how we apply our investment strategies here in NFTs. Now that we've realized and people have done the number crunching that Reddit has more users than the entire OpenSea, which was already in a bear market. So a lot of people probably just quit over there. That was a really big catalyst for us on the Twitter side to really get into Reddit. And I bought it started, I think it had the word fat in it. I forgot the name of the collection already. I bought a few of those this morning, and I flipped one for a profit and one for a quick loss, but the other 3 or 4, if I were to sell right now, would be for a small profit. Now there were only, the floor price of that was like 0.4 to 0.8 ETH, or 0.04 to 0.08 ETH. So I don't even know what that is in dollars, probably like 60 to 100, $110. And there's obviously different collections that are cheaper and more expensive. So I just bought into one collection so far and figured that if there's momentum within the entire Reddit avatar community, that my bags will follow. It didn't really matter which collection I was in. So I didn't do research into like, oh, this collection has better upside than this other collection. It was just more of a, hey, I wanted to be a part of the Reddit, profile picture avatar collection and see if I can make a few bucks on that. So I'm known in the Twitter community for, despite having such a large bag of apes, I don't mind flipping for a couple dollars profit, because that was the mindset that I had, back in the early Wall Street bets and stock days. Like, I would buy stocks for $10 if I can make 10 cents on it. I definitely take that flip.
Awesome. Tons of great information there. I think people are absolutely dying to ask you questions. So I'm going to start with you, Elder G. Do you want to go for it? What's on your mind?
Okay, so I was wondering, like, what's the inherent value in your mind behind like NFTs? Because the way I see it is, like, with stocks, you actually have value in shares from company, or on like physical artwork, you have like the physical artwork behind it. So what's like the benefit of an NFT compared to just buying the license of like the artwork? That's it.
Oh, silence.
Who is that for?
Anyone who wants to answer?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about buying an NFT and holding the NFT is like holding art, right? You can fake a Picasso, you can fake everything. Everything could be faked, but when you have the NFT, it's the non-faked version of that. And this is just basic utility we're messing with now, but I've already seen houses be sold as NFTs on a Sunday. So, there's a ton of possibilities of what NFTs can do to help change the world. Also, financial independence. I've seen NFT artists from all over the world, in some places where they don't have a right to own crypto or have money at all. I've seen them sell art and become financially independent and make their own choices in life. Even for donations, it could help stop corruption in a lot of places because you can track where the money goes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just a couple examples, but yeah, there's a ton.
Thanks for that, Beasting.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was I was talking. But yeah, those answers are really good answers. And I would also add that in terms of the art perspective, even though I am not an artist and don't have like a huge like an art museum in my house or nothing like that, if I wanted to go buy a physical painting, I would have to travel to the museum or order online, wait for it to get delivered. If I wanted to resell it, somebody would have to find out that I own it, and we have to do like that still physical transfer. But with digital art and NFTs, I live in the United States. I could sell to somebody in Japan, and it'll take 3 seconds, and they own the token of that artwork. So now they become the owner of that NFT. So it allows for faster transfers like that. The new collector or old collector can they have access to the person who created the NFT. They can always send them some tips for royalties if that's possible, if they really support the project. So and then quick communication in terms of social media, and then also like you mentioned, the buying the house as an NFT. With the Bored Apes, I think of it like a not in this not that all of us act this way, but it could be like a country club where your country club membership is just based off of a simple transfer of NFT to your wallet. Imagine, if you're in a country club and you need to sell your membership, it'd probably take a while to find somebody who would buy it from you for a certain price. But with NFTs, not only is it easy to track using the blockchain, it's pretty, easy to verify in terms of it's not a fake country club membership. Like, you can see where it came from. You can see it's part of a certain collection. It's always easy to check on the blockchain. Like, this is a legit NFT that can be transferred for this amount of dollars, and the new owner instantly has that access and that right to the utilities provided by the collection. So we're still early in Bored Apes, but I did mention the free NFTs, the free Ape Coin. We also had Ape Fest, which was a concert. We've had 2 of those in New York. The one that we had this past June had like 5 of my top 10 top 10 rappers. It had Lil Baby, Future, Lil Wayne, Snoop Dogg, and Eminem all came through. So, you know, just for me personally, that was a pretty nice utility to have by owning some apes. So there's different ways that project founders and creators can deliver value to the token holders, and the easiest way to do it is through verifiable assets that can be transferred instantly back and forth.
So you're saying there's all these ways to create value for the users using these NFTs, but as one user mentions on Twitch, we're currently now, in his perception, in a long, prolonged bear market, not just in the general economy, but also for NFTs and crypto. What is your take on that? Do you think it's going to persist for some time, or is there something else going on?
I do agree that we're in a bear market, and it doesn't take much research to find that out. The amount of trade volume is way down. So that is, I think what's more important is just people getting interested in NFTs. It doesn't really mean that you trade NFTs to make money, but as long as we can figure out the proper use cases for them, I think that's, you know, what could start up a more bull run. I mean, you can, like, we can say long-term bear market, but anybody who got into NFT just made early Bored Ape Yacht Club type gains within, you know, this past weekend. So I think there's always going to be a way to make some money in this bear market. People have just gotten smarter. The space has gotten bigger in terms of number of people participating. So it's not like, oh, everybody who mints this NFT is instantly going to get rich overnight and have a six-figure NFT. I don't think we'll see those days anytime soon or at all, just because of the smarter traders that have come in, the amount of people, the amount of options that we all have. So just like pretty much anything that was booming even 2 or 3 years ago, it's probably not doing too well now in terms of like a particular stock or particular industry. I've noticed that this bear market has really affected everything. So if we ever got out of a global bear market, what exactly would be on top? Would it still be NFTs? Would it be a completely different asset class? We'll see. I don't expect, you know, I definitely, you know, treat my apes and they're great, but I'm never going to say, oh, the apes are going to be the top investment for 2022, 2023, 2024. I'm not going to be that stupid.
Fair enough. Sounds like you're a true long-term investor. I'm going to let Scald Crypto ask a question if he has one, then maybe the Nibbler or One Molasses.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me all right. I'm out on my farm, like in real life.
Yeah, you're really quiet. Sorry, but if you want to write something in the comments, I'll ask it after the Nibbler or One Molasses.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hello, hello.
Hey,
hello.
What's up, Franklin? This is Basil from Twitter.
Hey, nice to talk to you on here.
Yeah, nice to see you here. Yeah, guys. So the question is, to be honest, I want to ask about these talk groups or chat rooms on Reddit. Since when are you organizing it, and are they regular? And how often do you host them? Because we do that very often on Twitter. I've been in the NFT space for like 18 months, and this is the first time I see these spaces here.
Yeah, before you answer, I'll just give a quick word on the Twitter Spaces, because I mentioned in DMs too. Like if Wall Street Bets could have Twitter Spaces chats too, it would definitely blow up Twitter. That's the easiest way to get, you know, tons and tons of people involved from all different.
100%.
And onboard us over here, because I like being onboarded to new things, and this is really fun. This is Friendly Citizen Joe, by the way, behind Beastings.
Okay, nice.
Oh man, the gang's all here. Yeah, drop a comment if you think that, you know, we should kind of move on over and do some stuff over on Twitter as well to try and bridge the communities. But and I'll show that to my Twitter contacts and hopefully get them to help us out. But to answer your question, One Molasses, we've been doing Reddit talks for almost a year now. I think I've done about like 250 plus episodes every trading day pre-market, so 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And yeah, it's always historically been stock focused, but if there's an appetite for crypto or NFTs, we're happy to explore that as well, both on Reddit and on Twitter. Just let me know what you guys would like to see in the comments.
I have just another question. I claimed my Reddit avatar, but I'm not sure how do I deal with it? Like, is it tradable? Can you buy other avatars, and how? Because I'm not familiar with Reddit avatars or NFTs.
Can I jump in there? I mean, Reddit, if you guys could give everybody a basic understanding of how to set up your vault or your how to do your seed phrase and all that stuff, I think it would help a lot of people, because as a Twitter user, I was completely clueless how to set up my vault if I didn't buy one, because right now you guys are sold out in the marketplace. So it kind of, if you're sold out, it sidesteps all those, the vault setup, right? So I was able to set mine up, and everything is on Matic, right? So, don't be buying any ETH, Reddit, NFTs, people.
Great security point. There's Ethereum, which is a layer 1 blockchain, and Polygon, which is layer 2 blockchain that sort of runs on Ethereum. In order to buy the official Reddit NFTs, you have to bridge your, if you only have ETH on your ETH wallet, if you've made it as far in the steps, which we might have to start all the way over especially for newcomers, you'd have to bridge your ETH over to Polygon blockchain and then use those to buy the Reddit avatar / NFTs on the secondary market. There's always going to be people with fake collections that say, "Hey, here's a Reddit avatar." They'll have the word official in the name and stuff, and it will be on your ETH blockchain, and you might get confused because you're not on the right blockchain, and you might buy the wrong thing. So definitely that's a concern there that will pop up. There's just scammers everywhere. But yeah, the official NFT for Reddit is on the Polygon blockchain. There's ways to send money through your centralized exchange directly to your Polygon wallet. But otherwise, if you're not really dealing with that, if you have your money on your decentralized, like MetaMask type wallet, make sure you're on the correct blockchain, which is Polygon, to buy and trade the Reddit ones.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, security truly is paramount. I mean, it's a lot easier, I think, for people to make money scamming or hacking people than it is to actually be a good trader like yourself, Franklin. So yeah, always be vigilant, because all it takes is one mistake. I'm gonna finally ask Scald Crypto's questions. Actually, it's 2 parts. So Franklin, 1, how often do you use Rarity sniping as a flipping tool? And then 2, soulbound tokens by Vitalik. Do you think this will replace a lot of the utility of NFTs?
First question about Rarity. In the early days of Bored Apes, when there wasn't really Rarity websites out there, I had to make my own spreadsheet, which I still consult and use. The market has just matured a lot into not really caring much about particular trait rarities for the apes. I know myself because I overpaid for one last week, I think, thinking that it was rare and I could easily flip it, and I haven't been able to yet. So that pretty much goes against now what my current trading strategy is for any NFT project. It's just buy the floor as cheap as possible, try to flip it. Even if you make 1 or 2% flips, if you're buying $100,000 apes, it's a pretty nice profit instantly. But even with smaller, NFTs that are $100 or less, some projects, when they first sell out, they're not even revealed. So there's no rarity to differentiate between the cheapest and the next cheapest. So obviously you go for the cheapest there. You can also place collection offers and to be lower than the floor price, so you can buy in for lower than the floor price if somebody needs quick liquidity and are willing to take a hit on their sell price to sell it to you for cheaper. There's also, on OpenSea at least, you can bid on a certain trait. You can bid on every NFT that has that trait, and you can bid like below the floor for that trait. It could be above the floor price for the overall collection, so you can get like a medium type bid in there, and that could get you a way to snipe it, a particular trait, and maybe flip it for a good profit. But I just like sticking to the floor. I think just based off how we are on Twitter and our sentiment, the overall floor price seems to be the biggest metric in terms of what drives interest, what drives the clout, what drives people to invest. So not a particular trait, but just the entire project sort of can move along based on what the lowest listing is. A lot of sentiment changes just on those 1 or 2% that are listed at the floor. And then the next question about soulbound tokens. I'm not the best resource for those soulbound tokens. I assume that those soulbound tokens means that you can't transfer them. They can't leave your wallet. So they're just, they're stuck there forever. I do have a concern about security with that because, like, say my wallet with all my apes in it. Say I just wanted to switch wallets just to be, just to be in my head secure. If I wanted to pick a new wallet and buy a new ledger that comes with a new seed phrase, completely different and independent from my current wallet, or if I wanted to spread my apes out into multiple wallets, if I already had soulbound tokens in there, how would I be able to move those soulbound tokens from wallet to wallet? So maybe I'm sure there's a lot of discussion about that I probably don't really know about or am not educated on. But soulbound tokens, there are ways to take advantage of those in order to prevent yourself from getting hacked by or voluntarily or accidentally sending off a particular NFT, because now if it can't be transferred out, that just sort of means that nobody can steal it from you unless they just stole your identity or stole your entire wallet.
Fantastic. Who that you were dropping links to the redditfloor.com site. Do you want to talk very briefly on that and then ask a question if you have one to Franklin?
Oh yeah, no, just some things I wanted to chime in on the Reddit avatars. Is where like a big I guess a big factor of them is they pay royalties, because you guys were asking about if the rights for the artwork. I'm not sure about the rights for the artwork, but I know that the artists get royalties every time that the NFTs are sold. So that's like a big factor with NFTs in general. But like this particular NFT is that, the artists are getting compensated every time somebody keeps buying it. And even when it goes into the, the markets like OpenSea, the artists still receive royalties every time it gets traded.
Good points. And then I think you had dropped, or somebody said you dropped links to the Reddit floor, the avatar floors. So that is just a good resource to just find if you like a particular artwork of a certain project, or we're doing research on a particular collection or particular trait. That's a good website to. It's not. I don't think it's updated in real time, but it gives you the link to look at the current listings on OpenSea.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Gen 2 just came out, so I don't know if they have all the NFTs for Gen 2, but all the first generation NFTs are on that website, and you can keep track of those collections and see how the price floor is going up and down.
And it's based in US dollars too. so for people like that, it's a lot better.
Go for it. Do you have a question?
Sorry. So my question is, do you have any official Twitter account?
Yes, I do. I just started this Reddit today, so I put my Twitter account in my bio.
Oh no, Franklin. Franklin, this is Basil.
Oh, you're asking the Wall Street Bets. Okay, yeah, you guys can.
Yeah, I'm asking the guys. Sorry, man. I know your Twitter, of course. We follow each other.
Yeah, well, for those who don't know, Franklin's Twitter account is FranklinIsBored on Twitter, and I would definitely recommend following it if you want to see some trades go down. Honestly, sometimes they're quite small flips, small profits, but it just makes you laugh, and sometimes you're sitting there and all, so it's always a good laugh. I would also recommend at Coinfessions is a little bit of a funny account if you guys want to check that out. But our account over on Twitter is at official Wall Street at official WSB at official_WSB. And that's after we got kicked out over our past 2 Twitter accounts. But I'm sure Franklin can commiserate in how fun Twitter is after they stole his check mark. But I think we're getting away from the topic. Let's really buckle down and talk about Reddit NFTs. Is there still room for them to run? It seems like at least the Midas ones and some others have shot up so fast, so hard today. Like, if you're buying it now, are you basically just somebody else's exit liquidity?
In my opinion, I think so. And again, it goes into, like, you would have to really be on Twitter to find out whose exit liquidity you are. Are you the, like, of course, now we're further along in the day, but early in the day, the tweets are like, hey, we're laughing at ourselves for being Reddit's exit liquidity, but we've had a full day, and I know it's just one day, and I know the stock market was not open this weekend, but trust me, the NFT market was open all weekend. So that one day in NFT Twitter land is long enough for the exit liquidity to be transferred, or the people who are using the NFT Twitter as exit liquidity be transferred from the Reddit crowd to the now NFT Twitter influencer crowd. So there were two influencers that I've seen tweet about Reddit yesterday, and how they like the project, and how we're onboarding billions of those people. This is going to be a really bullish signal. And then by today, they've tweeted that they are going to sell the ones that they bought. So they were, bullish. They remained bullish on the Reddit NFTs for a total of under 24 hours, and then now it's time to cash out on it. Obviously, that's just how it is. So I think if you were buying in, just keep a really, really close eye on how bullish exactly everybody else is at this price. And if it's time for you to sell, like don't worry about what people think of you if you sell. Just go ahead and get your money. There will be plenty of opportunities to make more money, whether it's through Reddit or through another collection later on. So I'm not particularly going to buy higher price projects within the Reddit. Maybe something below 0.1 ETH. I like doing that. And obviously you can buy multiple of those to increase your cost basis. So again, 0.1 ETH is like, I say $130 to $140. So that's pretty much the limit I'm going to stick to. Other projects, they're there for you if you want to really go crazy on them. I know the gold ones, I forgot the name of it. They were like a 6 ETH floor, and I woke up and now they're like 13 ETH floor now. So they pretty much doubled within the
What's
same
that
day.
in cash? What's that in cash, Franklin, for everybody that doesn't understand?
Okay,
ETH?
so 6 ETH. So the price of ETH right now, I'm pulling up my phone, $1,348. So 1,348 times 6. So they started at $8,000 this morning, and I say they're about 17,500 now. And in the NFT Twitter crowd, and you can see that price on that Reddit floor website. The NFT Twitter crowd likes gold. As you see, I got a gold ape. The gold color is the highest floor price ape. So just in total meme fashion, in terms of art and art projects, people like to follow that standard. So like a gold version of an NFT usually costs more than the regular floor. So that is more of a status symbol that people have the gold. Now, this is my opinion. I want to put it out there. I know we've talked about profile pictures and how you can make them, how unique you could be and how you can make them their brand. So aside from, trading your traits and making your individual unique profile picture with Reddit, because I heard that was a feature. If you just look at the NFTs now, a lot of them look the same. So if you ever get into a project where the artwork looks exactly the same and there's no way for you to customize it, just be careful, because it's hard to, differentiate yourself from somebody else if you guys are all rocking the same profile picture. So that could have a negative effect on like long-term pricing of it.
That's some great perspective. Thanks, Franklin. I know a lot of people on Twitch were kind of roasting us for encouraging people to buy at the top, but I think it's pretty clear from what you said that that's not quite what we're doing here. But I think this is a really good indicator that whether it's in the stock market or in the crypto markets, having your ear to the ground and being first can be a tremendous advantage. That's how all these people got in early, right? That being said, what utility do you see maybe outside for specifically Reddit NFTs, if any?
Oh yeah, you guys can answer that if you want.
Could we potentially do? I'm a little bit of a novice, but could we potentially do something charitable, like ensuring that diamonds are fair trade or something?
Or did you say shareable or charitable?
Charitable, or could we use the technology like that?
Oh yeah, I have to comment on that. So, like, always be careful with that, because a lot of rug pulls and shady projects have used charity to collect money and take money from people. And I personally got drugged by a project last year, exactly 1 year ago, by a person who just said, yeah, we're doing charity, and I lost around 2-3 ETH for that. So be careful when you do that, and whenever you do that, it doesn't matter if it's your friend or not. Whenever you do that, make sure you're 100% sure where that money is going, and there's already signed agreements. And don't hesitate to call the other party, the charity that's receiving the money. It's not rude. It's just, you being safe. So charity is a very nice idea. It's a very good idea. People like it. But at the same time, it can be very toxic, and it can be a magnet for money, a hole where money cannot go out.
Wow,
That being said,
yeah, that I was just thinking, like, for coffee and diamonds and stuff, it would be a great use for the technology.
I think it's a little bit out of scope for Reddit avatar collectibles, at least in their current incarnation. I will say, though, that just to echo what Molasses says, we've always been extremely appreciative when people reach out and say, hey, like, is this Reddit or Wall Street Bets NFT yours or related to you guys? We're always happy to answer that question. So yeah, don't hesitate. But going back to Reddit NFTs, like what utility do you see that can be unlocked with NFTs on this platform? And I guess I'll toss one out, which you guys are all experiencing it right now, is NFT gated Reddit talks. Well, I guess you're not experiencing it because a couple of you don't have it, but just like Twitter has ticketed spaces, there's no reason why you couldn't create spaces specifically for one collection of an NFT or all NFTs. And that could be one form of unlocking utility for NFTs on Reddit. Is there anything else?
Actually, I wanted to add, like, to be honest, like for Twitter, I think it's different, because here I noticed that only a certain group can create their own space. But on Twitter, once you pass 700 followers, you can host as spaces on your own. Everyone can host spaces. So I don't know. I think the best utility I've seen so far for collectibles or NFTs here was trying to onboard people to what NFTs are, to get them to accept that. But to be honest, I think it's very good. It's not a bad idea to try to bridge Twitter and Reddit users together to get buyers from Twitter to go to Reddit, and get buyers from Reddit to go to Twitter, because there's a lot of stuff people learn even by not trading, by just contacting people and interchanging information between each other.
Awesome.
Hello.
Thank you.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say we only have 6 minutes left, so I want to leave enough time for everyone to be able to ask their questions to Franklin. So real quick, if you guys have questions for Franklin, go ahead. And Keys, did you want to start?
I'm actually a friend of Franklin's and a few people up here. But yeah, I was going to echo what Basil had said with the whole Twitter Space thing. Not many people actually use the ticketed spaces, but I believe, like, if people just know how to, like, not monetize it, but make it where the community has a lot more benefits from it, especially with the learning aspect of it all, it might work out in the NFT collab with, like, Reddit communities doing talks and Twitter Spaces, combined together. But yeah, this is Acid, by the way. Welcome, everybody.
Oh, hey, Acid.
I'm from Twitter Spaces as well.
Hey, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a tight-knit world in the NFT space. Yeah, more questions for Franklin?
I have a question. Do you ever do consumer research? Like, who is the buyer? Who's the average buyer of the NFT? What maybe motivates them? Stuff like that, like other companies might do.
I don't, but I think there's plenty of room to build that tool and to use it to your advantage. There are websites that track people's wallets. Obviously, if you want to be anonymous, you can just always create a new wallet every day and do stuff with it. But a lot of people, again, with the whole flex community, you want to keep certain NFTs in your wallet and let people know you're buying it, and for ease, use the same wallet for trading. So a website called Nansen, NASEN.ai. That's a good website that tracks particular wallets and their performances, and so it applies those labels to those wallets whenever they do make a specific crypto transaction. So there could be like a daily summary of which collections have the most quote unquote smart money coming in, which could represent, profitable traders. So if profitable traders are holding this NFT, maybe that's a sign that you want to buy in, or maybe it's a sign that you want to get out and not be their exit liquidity. So you always use that research to your advantage in terms of what you want to get into. And obviously the best play would be to buy something before those profitable holders get in. So it's kind of like a chicken and egg or double-edged sword type thing. You want to be in the same project that's a blue chip that does well with a lot of smart holders. So that's the goal. There are tools out there that you can research to see, okay, this particular collection, you can draw like a Venn diagram between this collection and another collection like Bored Apes, and say this many hundred Bored Ape holders also own this particular NFT. So that is a good way to sort of see cross investing between projects. So Nansen is a good researching tool to figure out who exactly is buying what. But in terms of like actual data behind the person that's buying it, just because crypto lends itself to be anonymous, you don't really know like any demographics wise, like location or anything like that, of who's buying what NFT.
Right on.
My bad. Another great resource that Reddit users don't really know about on Twitter. It's called Spaces Dashboard. If you look that up, you can see all the active Twitter spaces happening. So you can categorize NFT spaces, cryptocurrency spaces, etc. That should help all of you in the future for sure.
Oh, that is useful. I didn't even know about that one. Thank you, Keith.
I would echo Spaces Dashboard. They have their own Twitter account too, so the founders on there. And it goes for stocks too. There's investing type spaces that's probably on Twitter, pre-market, during market, aftermarket, all day. So that's a good way to cross reference your talks and listening time.
Awesome. We've got just a couple minutes left. So Esther Lace or Slut Spoiler, I don't know if you guys have had a chance to ask your question yet.
Not yet, but I was going to say that on Reddit and especially on Wall Street Bets, we always talk about the most basic use of an NFT, which is sort of like a non-counterfeitable receipt, basically, from my understanding. And I was wondering what you guys are foreseeing as the most complex feature in the future or modern day that can be used with Reddit avatar NFTs, and if you guys would like to buy my jacket on my avatar.
So for me, I'll answer your second question. I don't think I will be buying particular traits. I will just be buying the floor price of a particular collection. So whatever is out there for the cheapest price. I'm not really an art person, so I really don't care what it looks like. I'll just buy it, whatever is the cheapest way in. And that's what I really think is the future of NFTs. So I know we all talked about art and stuff at the beginning, but the word art is not even in the acronym NFT or non-fungible tokens. So later on, or we're starting even now, you'll start to realize more of the technology and what the importance of that particular token as opposed to the artwork behind the token. And even here with Reddit, the artwork behind the token might look like what it is now when you buy it, but you can just change it to have the token the same. The token's not going to change, but the artwork can change. So that just shows how important owning that particular token is, because it gives you the power to change the artwork on that. And just extrapolate that point for just NFTs in general. I think the house example was a really big use case of
yeah
NFTs.
I did like that. I did like that. I'm definitely going to focus on that.
Mm-hmm. And then for owning and Reddit NFT, Discord. So in Discord, you can have a verified channel where you click on verify. Obviously, be safe and secure with what you're clicking on, but you can connect your wallet to your Discord. And so having a particular Reddit NFT, it could be any Reddit NFT, or they could narrow it down to a specific collection. That could give you access to more private Discord chats, and who knows what you can talk about in those chats. You can organize certain meetups or do different things within that chat. So that's just the really most basic rudimentary way of proving that you own a Reddit NFT. You can use different third-party websites to validate your ownership, and that gives you access to token gated chats. Maybe you have an alpha chat, maybe you have a secret stock chat that's only for this particular Reddit NFT, and who knows, that could be a factor in making the price go up if it's a really good utility.
Agreed.
What about dynamic NFTs, Franklin? Interchangeable traits.
That's something that's new, and that's why I think Reddit is in a really good spot, because I think whatever comes out of these dynamic NFTs is really going to drive what future collections and future projects will do. So I definitely applaud Reddit and everybody who's invested in it for taking part. And we'll see, like, how can somebody dynamicize or change their NFT, and not only change it in a way that it increases the value of the NFT to make their portfolio go up. That'll be a very interesting strategy that I'll be in the old school section for, because I wouldn't be knowing how to do it. And so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing good results come out of that.
So I have one last question. Why are all those NFTs are on Polygon? And like, for example, when we see them on OpenSea, they are tradable on Polygon, but here you buy through your credit card or whatever. But are they like reflected on OpenSea? You can view them on OpenSea, looks or other marketplaces, Franklin, because you have experience with both, maybe.
Right. So I didn't buy in the primary sale. So all of my investing and trading for Reddit will be on OpenSea on the secondary market. So as I mentioned, the ETH blockchain is a layer one. That's where like my apes are. That's what I do, 99.99% of the trading that you'll see me do on Twitter. Then the Polygon being layer two, it moves a lot faster than ETH. There's the fees for buying it. You pay Matic tokens, which OpenSea actually pays for. Well, actually, they might not pay for anymore. But the fees are just so cheap that you only need like $2 or $3 that could last you years in terms of gas fees, as opposed to the layer one ETH chain. $2 or $3 only lasts you one or two transactions. So I think that's why Reddit chose Polygon, because the fees of doing transactions on there are so small that it can handle millions and millions of NFTs at once. And so it's able to have that credit card onboarding to I think it's a good marketing play. Reddit didn't say, hey guys, buy our NFTs. You have to go create a crypto wallet and do all this and this and this and this just to get your NFT there. They made it a very simple process where
100%.
the credit card company processed the transaction, and I'm sure in dollars. Reddit was able to send you the NFT and pay, and Reddit only needed to pay like a fraction of a cent to send it to you. So it was very low cost to airdrop it to the wallet. So once that onboarding happens, where you pay for the credit card and the NFT gets into your wallet, then it really becomes like a crypto, more decentralized asset where you can trade and flip it and stuff on OpenSea. Or we like to use ETH on the Polygon blockchain and also on the ETH blockchain. So that's really the main currency you could use to buy and sell your Reddit NFTs. If you're not comfortable in doing the price conversion, you can always sell it for Matic tokens or USD coin. So I think OpenSea also takes those currencies. It's just that here on Twitter we always like to price things in ETH, and I know that's definitely an adjustment for me, having to go back and forth between ETH and dollars.
Thanks. So one last question, can I? Or I don't want to hog the mic, so
Go for it.
Yeah. So my other question is, what was the process that you guys, or I'm not sure if you guys came up with the idea or who came up with the idea, but what was the process? How was it reflected on OpenSea? That was actually the first part of my question earlier. How was it viewable on OpenSea? Like, first it was created here, people bought it here. They have their vault. I have my vault since like 1.5 years, and when I came here, I saw you can claim it and that's it. But the question is, how is it reflected on the blockchain? How can you view it on OpenSea and other marketplaces? Is it possible?
So that seed phrase, 12-word seed phrase that hopefully you guys learned never to share or type electronically, or because it's just like having a password, except you can never change your password. So once it's out there, it's out there. Don't let it get out there. So that 12-word seed phrase that you have, you can import, or when you open up your MetaMask Google Chrome extension, you can log in with that seed phrase. So that will give you access to not only your ETH layer one wallet, but a couple of clicks on OpenSea will automatically have you switch over to the Polygon layer 2 blockchain where you can view your NFT on OpenSea there. So might not have enough time to go through that full process, but that seed phrase is yours and it's going to stay yours forever and it's never going to change, so don't lose it. And that's how you can get access to your decentralized version of your wallet. And a couple of clicks later, move over to your Polygon blockchain and view your NFT in that wallet. So I'm pretty, like, I didn't buy it from Reddit, but I'm pretty sure that's how you could transfer just looking at your NFT from looking at it on the Reddit website to looking at it in your OpenSea wallet. And then if you already had an OpenSea wallet that you trade normally, you don't want to use multiple wallets.
So OpenSea wallet or MetaMask wallet?
MetaMask wallet, but you can view, you'll view it on your OpenSea account. So they're all the same account. So you can transfer, if you had multiple wallets and your Reddit one is in, they create a new wallet for you and you want to consolidate everything, you could send your NFT from your Reddit wallet to your normal MetaMask wallet if you already had one. Otherwise, you just have to make an, open up that new wallet into MetaMask by your seed phrase.
And I was able to send out NFTs too from the Reddit side. So like once you get set up on Reddit, they do give you that right from the wallet.
I'm assuming it's just exactly the same as any other regular MetaMask wallet. Just for marketing purpose, they didn't want to call it an NFT wallet, so they hoodwinked all of us there. But it's all for good.
Digital
I wanted to ask a question. Does Reddit support selling the NFTs or not?
No. I mean, not from Reddit itself, but you can sell it on OpenSea, right? But you can't.
No, they don't have issues with you doing it. Reddit don't.
Oh, not at all. They're already doing it, right? To Franklin's point, there's the gold ones are selling 30 ETH or something.
Yeah, there's that Reddit 4 website that you can use to track the price of everything. Just like stocks here, just pretend you're able to buy if Reddit went public or something, and everybody who owned Reddit was able to get a share for 5 cents. Obviously you can hold that all the way up to $1 million if you want, but if you want to sell, you can sell it and cash out.
Yeah, and to that point, I just bought a Reddit NFT today, and I'm also a Bored Ape holder, but I like what you guys are doing. And then it would be cool if you guys could integrate Ethereum also later on, possibly into Reddit.
100%. Oh, sorry, go ahead, man. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think the reason they haven't is because it's expensive.
But the problem is on Twitter, it has a bad reputation. Polygon has been associated mostly with scams and many problems, and sometimes the network had problems in the past. My first NFTs that I personally sold and made were on Polygon, but then I moved to Ethereum because you can easily swap between tokens and so on. But Polygon, you have to bridge your token. Polygon had a bad reputation and still has bad reputation somehow on Twitter because it's relatively cheap, so people use it to send you fake NFTs with fake offers. Once you accept them, it sucks out all the liquidity you have. And third of all, as I said, we haven't seen much things pumping. And to be honest, in the last 1 year, the thing that pumped the most was these Reddit NFTs.
Yeah. To that point, you guys are number one on OpenSea, and that's amazing. And yeah, if you were on Ethereum, it'd be 100 times easier to buy, because I had a huge complications buying and selling. But no, I think what you guys are doing is amazing. Franklin.
Yep. And again, it's just this is just a historic day in terms of the whole NFT community coming together and supporting a Polygon massive project, which was the goal of Polygon, having low gas fees, easy to transfer, a lot faster transactions. And now we've finally seen a big company really take advantage of that. But yeah, again, for security reasons, people didn't like using Polygon because it was just easy to airdrop stuff, to airdrop random NFTs that nobody wants and spam people's wallets. But if we can get past that and focus on the good stuff about Polygon, what Reddit's doing is great.
And the merge too. ETH just recently merged, so their electricity usage went down like 99% or something significant. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, also security-wise, it's just awesome.
Awesome. Go ahead.
I was going to say gas costs have also come down significantly it used to be $100-$200 to make a transaction on Ethereum. Now it's like, I don't know, 90 cents, maybe $1 at max, so it's really competing with Matic as far as even transaction cost.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely exciting. And I think that's going to enable a lot more trading activity. I'm not sure how much time everyone else has, but before people start moving out, I do have a question for every speaker up here. And I'll maybe start from the bottom. The question is, what is your worst trade and what is your best trade? And I want you to include the amounts, how long you held, and anything else, and why you got into that trade. So I'll start with you, Scald Crypto. Spill the deets. Scald Crypto. Oh.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd say my best trade was probably I picked up a bunch of bokies, and then I was able to flip all of the bokies at once. It was like a 5x when I sold all of them, and I had quite a bit of bokies. And then I would say my worst trade was this like whale NFT that just got rug pulled. What up? Went to zero.
Why'd you FOMO into either of them?
So bokies, like I just really loved the art reveal. I liked the team behind it. They had been behind a few other successful NFTs. I knew some of these guys from venture capital. So I like from other venture capital funds. I'm in a VC, obviously. So I just wanted to support them. And that's why I went into it.
Awesome. I see as soon as I asked these questions, like 2 people, 3 people dropped. And you guys are scared to share your bags?
I'm not. But
all right,
let's hear Franklin.
We'll work our way up to Franklin. Beasting, you're next. Spill the deets. Or who that? Not letting you guys off the hook.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, sorry. Are you talking about me or somebody else?
All right.
No, I would say like my best trade. I mean, it's not more NFT, more coin. Like I was in before the Shiba all pumped. Like I knew that the dog coin craze was going to happen, so I got into Shiba like before the 420, before it initially pumped. Like the bad trade, I wouldn't say it's a bad trade. It was a mistrade. I saw when Sandbox was selling their lands for like 300, and I thought, I don't know, maybe it might be overpriced. And then I kind of saw it got up to like 900, and then I said, oh, this is probably the top. This is, I'm not gonna FOMO in. And now like Sandbox lands are like 10,000. Well, I mean, I think they maxed out to like 50,000, but now they kind of stabilized at 10,000. So that was like a missed opportunity.
Oof, that's got to sting. Redskin Flippy, I'm going to ask you real quick before you disappear again. Biggest gains, losses?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had cut phone trouble or some shit. What's the question real fast? What was it again?
What's been your biggest gain or loss or missed opportunity, and why'd you get into it? How much did you make or lose in US dollars?
It doesn't have to be NFT related.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Something else.
Oh, no. Let's see. Biggest loss. I guess right now my biggest one is I bought at the top of Rocket Mortgage at $42.50, and I'm still holding it. And I think it's worth like $7.
Oh, all right. An NFT?
Unfortunately, I don't own or have traded any NFTs. I'm an artist. I'd like to make some somehow, but I got into Dogecoin when it was 5 cents and sold some of that at 40 cents.
Oh, snap. It's a nice 8X. All right. Who's got some losses? Beasting?
I got some big ones.
All right.
I bet
curious?
no one could beat my losses. I got a friend of mine suggested this guy, and it was a gambling scheme, and it was totally an international like gambling scheme on football, and I went like all in crazy on this guy who I thought was a genius, because he was like making hand over fist money, and ended up losing like $250,000. However, I did get out of crypto like right before this latest crash. And I later invested in myself and made a liquor company that's doing pretty well. So I've just stopped investing in other people unless I'm involved in the actual creation, you know?
Yeah, that sounds like a great mentor. And damn, 250 grand is not nothing.
No, not nothing at all. It was
Yeah.
over the course of like a year. He was a very convincing con artist. This person would be like, "Oh man, you know, like my brother, you know, it was like it was also a meat in Mexico thing, like a cattle ranching in Mexico thing was involved as the backup, as the collateral. So I was like, okay, then you owe me your fucking farm because we had a contract. And then it was like he's like, oh, I just need this money to get the money that I owe you, and it was the biggest scam that has ever been run on me, and it lasted like a year.
Oof, that's really rough. Beasting, I hope you can't top that. I'll let you go, but just before I do, I see someone claiming to be the OpenSea co-founder. If that's you in the comments, raise your hand. Curious to see what you have to say. But until then,
doubt that is real.
I want to believe.
Want to know my biggest gain and loss?
Let's hear it.
It's not as bad as his for sure, that's for sure, but it was the dumbest. Like, it was the dumbest. So some of you are familiar with Ethereum name service, ENS. They did a token drop a while back. I had registered my ENS names for 10 years in advance, the ones I did have at the time. So I was airdropped 412 or 13 tokens, which is the equivalent at the time of $13,000. The biggest loss was what I spent them on. That should tell you a lot. Yeah, it was all a bad investment with that. So I lost at least 80% of that. But it was a fun experience, you know. I DJed a little bit, tried to flip some things, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. Yeah. I should have just kept it, you know, but it is what it is. We live, we learn.
Sorry guys, my turn came up and I didn't answer, or no, not yet.
Yeah, we'll go to you next. But before we do, I think that person, Steve Xander, that is the real OpenSea co-founder. Either that or he's very dedicated because he's got posts from like 2+ years ago talking about OpenSea. So he was just trying to share the fact that to find Reddit on the top of the rankings, or whichever NFT collection is doing the most volume in the last 24 hours, you can go to the link in the comments. But it's just OpenSea.io/rankings and then sort by 1 day volume. So yeah, that might be a good strategy there. But Open Molasses, yeah, go for it. Big losses, big gains.
just call me Basel, like the city in Switzerland, man. Yeah. So the thing is, like you were asking, what are the NFT plays that we did, good and bad? I'm gonna talk about the things that I missed and the things I should have done. For example, have you heard about the goblins? I'm not sure you heard. No.
Oh yes, I have the free mint.
Oh yeah, it's a free mint that went up to 7 to 8 ETH. I remember I bought around 4. It was at 0.2 ETH. And then it went up to 0.4, then it went down. I think I sold them all at 0.3 and before it shot up to 7 to 8 ETH. And this is one thing. Other thing was fading the 4-digit ENS addresses. This was like, you know, I'm not sure how much it cost. It was 0.05 ETH to mint one. And I just, you know, my friends were saying, come on, guys, we're minting all of them. They're going to be something. And I was like, no, guys. And I was literally not in the mood for it. They were literally up to grab. Just you can mint how many you want. And right now, I think the floor is 2.5 ETH each. I faded those two. And yeah, those, I think, the biggest fades that I did so far. Other than that, you know, flips. I did things like the quirkies. I did with a project called Apocalyptic Apes. It was like I bought at 0.04, sold at 2 ETH. Yeah, some place like this. And yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention, I sold some of my own NFTs that I made for 0.5 ETH, half an ETH each.
Oh, speaking of that, the bag I faded was when I got them ENF tokens. I could have bought a Bored Ape, I think, back then. That's what sucks. That really sucks, y'all. Like, you don't understand. I've been hanging with the Bored Apes since they came out, and I was like, damn, man. How do you know how that feels?
Man, I feel you, but to be honest, sometimes we say that we faded important projects, but at the same time, you don't know how many rug pulls you have avoided, and between those rug pulls, you faded one project or two, but in the long term, you're just doing what you're doing. So that's how I look at it. Otherwise, you cannot sleep at night.
Right on. Sorry, I was just removing some comments talking about scientifically proving God exists. So apologies if I missed a little bit of that. Who's next? Let me hear your gains and losses. We're working all the way up to Franklin. I think we've got maybe like 3 people left. Mofa, you want to go for it? Or
sure. I just got into NFTs with Reddit avatars, so I have not sold a thing yet. And my biggest unrealized gain with that said is going to be the Midas Touch, but I'll probably follow that all the way to the ground because I don't think I'm going to sell it. At least not anytime soon.
That's the gold one, right? The one I got the name of.
Yeah, the crown.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah,
Can I
bought it
ask
for $3
one
in
question?
the store. I got super lucky. I got number 99 out of 100.
wow, damn.
Can I ask the group a question, please?
Sure.
Is there does anyone aware of any like NFT projects that are like currently in production to kind of assure fair trade coffee or diamonds or cocoa, anything like that that's real?
I'm not sure, but I think that's a little bit out of scope for this talk, but I'm sure you can find something, or maybe create
Well, it's
your
an
own.
Ask Me Anything. Sorry, I thought that was literal.
Do you mean like
Reddit? Like Reddit? Is there like a currency on Reddit like diamonds or coffee? Or are you talking about like actual real?
No, I'm talking about like using non-fungible tokens to ensure the chain of ownership of actual goods, getting a literal physical sticker on there and being like, this is blockchain approved, this is a real product, and you can look up how much that farmer made because it's blockchain.
It could be done.
But we're getting there. I just know that house example is an example. Okay, you can look at the transaction right now of the house, how much USD coin, which that's the good currency for here in this chat. USD coin is just 1-to-1 for $1. So it's like $175,000 or something. You can see the transaction that happened, what time it happened, who created the token, which wallet it came from, which wallet it's in now. So that's just an example of what you're asking, just a different product.
So speaking of utility too, some of the NFT artists themselves or the Reddit avatar artists themselves are trying to create their own utility. Fatty Bags, for example, is one who has airdropped some of his own NFTs to his avatar holders, and I expect more artists to do the same coming soon.
Yep. As long as the value keeps going up with the airdrops, that's great. It could go either way, where the value of the airdrop plus the value of your original NFT, the sum of that could go below what the price of your NFT was before your airdrop. So if you're looking in terms of just pure investing, just be aware of increasing the number of collections from that particular artist in terms of your overall market cap and overall portfolio. But yes, utility includes airdropping NFTs, and being that it's on Polygon, it's pretty much free to send a bunch of NFTs out to people as opposed to the layer 1 Ethereum chain.
Yep, and then they're also trying to create some exclusivity too in creating some Reddit or subreddits, right, that you can only get access to with your NFTs as well. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Curious, George, with that question you asked, I mean, I can kind of see where you're going with that, but I would just say maybe in the future I'll have something like that, but it's long down the line. Like it's a long process. It takes a lot. Like, got to talk to supplemental distributors, things like that. You
Yeah,
got to
I
have
want to
a
invest in
warehouse
that,
for it.
is what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah, that's
I still, even though I've had large losses in the past, I've had larger gains also. So I'm trying to find out how I can invest in something like that. That's kind of why I joined the chat.
yeah, that's kind of where I'm leading to with it, with what I'm building, but it's just a long process. It really is. It's a long process.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you.
All right, next up is, I think that's everyone who's still up. So Franklin, I'm going to toss it back to you. You can kind of once more go over again biggest losses, biggest gains with some US dollar figures in there.
Okay, yeah, minted Bored Apes at 0.08 ETH. I minted 3 of those. The price of Ethereum was about $2,800. So about $230, $240 per ape. I had 3 of those. Now they're worth at least $100,000 each. So that's I don't know the math of that. It's like a 400x. So from the original price, but they went up to as high as $450,000 each at the peak of the market at the end of April. So that could be both my biggest gain and biggest loss. And I obviously have more than 3 apes now. I had 30, that first day. So at the peak of the market, I had about 40. I think I had about 47. So the total monetary value of that would have been over $20 million at the peak of the market. Plus, if I held the ape coin that was airdropped, it was about this conservative estimate of 200 and about $250,000 per ape. Another of that, so another few $1,000,000 on top of that would have been my peak net worth, and it's all dropped down. I sold on my ape coin way too early to buy more apes, and now that I have more apes than I did, but the price of each ape has gone down. So that is like a missed opportunity in terms of I didn't sell the top. My biggest actual realized like buying and selling loss was this project that's used to be called Creeps, CREEPZ. Now it's called Overlord XYZ. So they're still going strong. I just bought in at the wrong time. They had a utility token that pretty much was an easy play on passive income until everybody started selling it off. So I bought the very top of it when the people, also buying a token and pumping that price up. And so I put about $1 million in and probably got out about $90,000 to $100,000 out. So I would say a 90% loss in that project. And I kind of wish I had used that money to buy 3 or 4 more Bored Apes, and that could have got me a lot more income, even though the price still would have gone down, but not down as bad as that Creeps project. So those are my biggest wins and losses in NFTs.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Franklin. Thanks for all the speakers who came out. Franklin, is there anything else you kind of wanted to share, spiel on about?
Yeah, one last thing on just the Reddit and how exciting it seems to be with a lot of NFT Twitter sort of jumping on to Reddit at this particular time. And, congratulations to everybody who bought originally from Reddit and have learned that just like any other collectibles, any other stock, or any other NFT, you can apply sort of the same economic trading principles that, you buy low and sell high. So it's always good to buy in early when there's little information and more speculation. And then, once that speculation turns into really, really big hype and you see a lot of people buying in, it's a good time to realize your gains if you want to make money. And you could then be on both sides of the situation. Now you can see what it's like to make money in NFTs. It's just that here we call them digital collectibles for the Reddit avatars, but it's all the same principle. It's not meant to like make fun of or demean or downgrade whatever you view of your collectible. It's just that one community calls it one name, the other community calls it the other name. But it's all the same in terms of trading practices and principles if you're trying to make money, or just applying what you normally would apply to for anything that you collect, like trading cards or watches or sports cars or your stock portfolio. It's all pretty much follows that same cycle. So it's exciting to finally see so that the term digital collectible be used in a positive light along with NFTs.
Awesome. Well, honestly, thank you so much for spreading your knowledge to all of us. Thank you to all the listeners who came out, and thank you to all the speakers who spoke. Special shout out to all the people in the Twitch and YouTube who were following along with us for the hour and a half of this. And we'll see you all hopefully on our pre-market talks, 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern every trading day. And maybe we'll do some more NFT talks. Let us know what you like in the comments. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you around.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And yeah, appreciate you all joining us on Twitch and YouTube. If you're not already, please follow and subscribe and check out more of what we've done in the past. Have a great one, and we'll see you around. Don't lose